So I was born in Moscow during the Cold War. My dad is American, my mother's Russian. Basically, my parents couldn't be together. So my mother was in Russia, pregnant with me. My dad is in Sweden, campaigning to get us out. We ended up getting on a nuclear disarmament agreement between Gorbachev and Reagan, and we were one of the first families to be reunited during the Cold War. So like from the beginning, my life was very political, and having a purpose behind everything kind of what drives me. Dance has always been one of those things where I just feel the most alive and really who I am and free. But I always separated my identities. Like I thought to make a change in the world, I would have to do something like at the UN or an NGO or become president. And then as a dancer, that was something less important. So I kind of put my dance life on hold and started working for the UN. I was still like battling in the underground parties. And then I was also like going to the UN during the day. I had this like really polarized life. And I think my biggest yes and one of the most transformational points in my life was moving to Kenya. It was the first time in my life that I wasn't strategically planning what that next thing would be. I was just like, I am drawn to Africa. I want to go learn about a place and be a complete idiot. Like, I just want to go and absorb all this knowledge, did human rights work as well as danced my ass off across the continent. And people loved it. Like, whenever I danced, people are just like, this Mzungu, like, you have moves. And then I was invited to be in a music video. And that music video became the #1 song in East Africa.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa.
That song became the #1 song in East Africa. And then a month from there, I was asked to be a judge on So You Think You Can Dance Kenya.
You guys, this is your best performance yet.
And it was only then where I started to see that my work with politics and the UN, as well as my work with dance, could come together. The narratives I saw in the media were so much about violence, war, famine, but being there, you just didn't see that. You saw life, you saw dignity, entrepreneurship, creativity, and so much collaboration. And I felt like no one was creating content that was telling any of those stories. So I decided that I wanted to be the Anthony Bourdain of dance, and I combined dance and politics. I was trying so hard to do both, keep my job at the UN and make this show happen, but it really takes letting go of the things where you need to move on, and taking that big step towards yes, what your intuition is saying, is so terrifying, but you never regret it. It's really a leap, actually. It's not a step. It's not like a cute step. If your job is getting in the way of you doing that big thing that you've always dreamed of, then it for sure is worth it. So a year ago, I quit my job, and that was a huge moment because I had no idea what I was going to do next. I didn't know how I was going to make money. I came out to LA and started pitching my show. And within 4 months, I was meeting Usher, top production companies, and getting multiple offers to do my show. None of that energetically was possible before I quit my job. So I'm launching this show called We Speak Dance on Netflix on New Year's Day. And it is this dance documentary series looking at dance cultures around the world. And I interview the most badass dancers and get to know about their history, their culture, the politics of their city through their dance styles. We filmed in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Costa Rica, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Spain, and Lebanon.
Wow.
Yeah. In Nigeria, out of all the filming, dancing in the most crowded market in the world, and just people laughing, making them laugh, first of all, and then just enjoying is the best feeling. You're reminded how human you are when we all make ourselves vulnerable and dance and do something silly or unpredictable. You end up bringing everyone together. If you have a talent, let it shine. If you want to be a tap dancer and a politician, go for it. If you want to be a CEO and a basket weaver, go for it. Embrace all of these different pieces of who you are. We don't need to hide the things that we are most passionate about from ourselves, from our friends. And I think once we start putting together all those key pieces of who we are and owning it, that's when we can have the most impact. That's when we become the most inspirational. That's when we can't wait to get out of bed. I always was like hiding my dance world from my UN world. And when I started putting those two together, I really discovered what my true purpose was. You're getting that low angle. My feet. My toes are so cold.